Well, hello, welcome back to my kitchen. So today we're doing a Feed My Family for a Day from Dollar Tree. So here are my self-imposed rules. And I kind of wish I didn't make one of the rules, but it is what it is. Because I'm honest, if nothing else, I made the rule. Nobody knew but me, but I would know. So, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So here's the rules. One store, one time, one day, get everything. The only other exception that I made was if I already had it in the house and it was the exact same item. I didn't pick it up. The other exception I made was one of the ingredients I got was a cake mix. It only comes from Dollar Tree with milk in it. So I just switched it out for one that I have in the house. I did allow myself the 10 items. I got 9, and that's because I couldn't decide on the last item if I wanted this or I wanted that. Because if I was making one thing, then I might not have enough for this thing. So I'm gonna decide when we get over there. I will know immediately if I need it. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's heat up those pots, come on. All right, here we go. Here are the 9 items I got. I still have 1 remaining. There's the yellow cake mix in the back. I got a can of apple pie filling. I got a box of elbow macaroni, a can of Hunt's garlic and herb pasta sauce. I got some peppers and onion stir fry. I got a can of peas and carrots. I really wanted that to be mixed vegetables, but they didn't have it, and I don't like their frozen mixed vegetables, so I went with that. I have 2 John Morrell sausage, 1 hot smoked and 1 regular. And of course, we have the hot dogs. Now, I just basically have 2 different kind of hot dogs out there. My initial thing was I wanted to get a different kind of a meat, but they didn't have it. And I really tried to make it work. So we're going with some heavily processed food today. But if this is all you had, we're looking for full bellies. We're not looking for like, oh, that's so packaged food. I know. So the thing wasn't sure if I had enough of was the elbow pasta. I was going to get a loaf of bread so they could have bread with things. I wasn't sure what to do, so I thought, well, I have bread at home and I have pasta at home. I didn't want to buy both and then have them sitting here. So I left room in the budget. If I need it, I need it. If I don't, I don't. I just go with the 9 items and not 10 items. I also am going to mention that I'm going to be using household staples. Basic seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, things like that. A fat, and I think I might use some soy sauce. No, I know I'm going to use some soy sauce. So, and I have a bazillion packages. I just don't feel like unwrapping them, so I'm just going to use what I have. Just an FYI, my oven is still broken. I only have a broiler. So I'm going to try this using the broiler, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to switch over to a toaster oven, and what I was going to make with it will now just take a different shape, but it'll still taste the same. But I'm going to give it a go in the oven. So let's get started with breakfast. That's where the cake and the apple pie filling comes in. All right. I'm going to try and do this part by hand. If I have to, I'll use my little mini chopper, but I don't know that everybody has those things, so I'm trying to do it this way. So what we're making is apple donuts. So the recipe calls for cake mix and 21 ounces of apple pie filling. I only have 15. So we're going to make up the difference with some water, and that's what we're going to do. Because either I was going to have too much, I was going to have too little, I don't know. But I need to chop these up really fine and try and make it liquidy. And don't worry, I will scrape the can out. I always do. I'm going to start with the fork. I have a masher. I have scissors. I have all kinds of things. That's not going to work out. I might have to use they're a little more firm than I thought they would be, but let's see. Oh, no, that's not bad. I could do that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to mash these down. All right, so I mushed that down. I gave myself a little bit of help with the mini chopper because my hands got tired. But just a quick zip, and then I finished up with this again. So, hold on, let me just tap this off real quick. All right. I have about a fourth of a cup of water over here to make up the difference for the apple pie filling that I'm missing. I could have halved it, but what fun would that be, right? All right, so we're just going to mix the cake in. I'm going to mix it in slowly, I think. I don't know. Get it going at least. Yeah, heck with it. Just going to stick it in there. Now, this isn't supposed to be thin like cake mix. It's supposed to be a little bit thicker and hold its shape. Adding a tablespoon of water. I know I'm going to need it all, but I don't want to just assume I need it all. Just added it a tablespoon at a time. See? It just started coming together out of nowhere. All right, let me give this a good mix. All right, I'm going to do like a half a tablespoon more because there's a little bit of liquid on the bottom. Not liquid, a little bit of the dry stuff on the bottom. I think that should be good. I don't think we needed 3 tablespoons. All right, let me get my other stuff out. We'll show you what we're going to do. All right, I was going to use this for the top, but I think I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of cinnamon in it. Not much, just give it a little bit of something, because I'm going to top it with like a cinnamon sugar mix. So that's maybe a half a teaspoon, just a little something. So I'm going to mix that through. I'll be back with the pan. All right, so what I did was I have this teeny tiny Ziploc baggie. Apparently I'm out of my bigger ones, and I just put it, cut a little opening in it, and we're just going to pipe it right in. I'm going to say right about there. I don't really know. I'm guessing. All right, there we go. These are going to go in the oven. I think it's 350 for about 12 to 15 minutes until they're like spongy. I did it. They're done. See, they're spongy to touch. I'm going to let them cool a little bit. I'm going to take them out, and I'm just going to continue on like that. I'm just going to bake them one batch at a time. All right, there we go. I put this one upside down so you could see how they turned out. They probably would have turned out better had I had an actual functioning oven and not, you know, watching it on the broiler. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the donut. I'm going to take a little bit of melted butter. I know I have too much, but I can use it when we do our lunch. I'm just going to brush a little bit on top. I got a little bit of cinnamon sugar, and we're just going to drizzle that right on top. And we're going to have those for breakfast this morning. And you could serve it with some coffee, if you have coffee, with some milk, whatever you like. But I think we're going to have about, it said 12 to 15 donuts. So that, to me, is the cheapest box of donuts you could ever have. And you probably have all the stuff. Oh, you can also do that. You know what else you can do this with? The muffin mix. You could do it with that too. All right. Whoop! That was a lot. All right, let me call Eric down here and see what he thinks about it. All right, I have Eric and Aiden down here. Neither one of them are dressed, so we're just gonna do it this way. Got it? Aiden. And I'm gonna snap a piece off for me. Oh, it's very donutty.
Smells good.
Smells good? All right, here we go. Everybody's gonna take a bite on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Mm.
Oh, that is so good.
That's really good.
The apple, oh my goodness. Good decision, Tina. Good decision. Eric, what do you think first?
I really like the taste of the apple. Honestly, it's really good.
Yeah, I like the little chew it has. Aiden, what did you think about the donut?
I loved it.
All right, well, you guys can have some more because there's plenty of them. All right, lunchtime. What we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out if I wanna add more pasta or bread after I cook the pasta. I'm gonna cook all of it now because I need half now and half for dinner. So that's what we're gonna do to make the decision. This, a long time ago, a subscriber told me about this recipe. I'm gonna kind of wing it today. First thing I'm gonna do is start boil the water, and then we're gonna slice up those hot dogs. All right, so while that's going, I'm gonna slice these hot dogs into little pieces best I can. And these are only 10 ounces of hot dogs, and they're very skinny. So we're just gonna slice them up in little pieces like that. All of the hot dogs. Gotta try and go fast because I talk too much and these videos end up too long. All right, there we go. We're gonna move over to the stove now. Forgot to turn the pan on. I'm gonna use some of this melted butter from this morning. I remelted it. I don't know why I did that. I just did. Okay. All right, to the butter or whatever fat you got, or no fat at all, water. We're gonna brown up the dogs. Got to get a little bit of color on them, and then we're going to throw some seasoning in the pan. All right, so what I'm looking for is like a little browning like that on it. See? Yes, I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I turned it up good and high so I get that. That's what I was looking for, exactly that. To the pan, I'm going to add some seasoning so we can bloom them. Gives you a little bit more flavor when you do that. Gotta put some oregano in the pan. Just season with your heart. Some Italian seasoning. If you hear that little gurgle, it's just my coffee pot going. A little bit of basil. I love basil. It's a sweet spice to me. I don't know why. Garlic powder. And I might add a little bit more when I get the sauce in here. Because really you're supposed to make it with a can of tomato soup. But I got a can of tomato sauce. All right, so we toast it up a little bit. We're gonna, ow, that was hot. All right, I'm gonna add, oops, slip right out of my hand. I'm just gonna add a little bit more butter in the pan because it's kind of dry. And we're gonna add the pasta. All right, we're gonna push this in here. And I'm going to just toast it a little bit in the pan. This is more food than we need. We definitely don't need the extra pasta. And I'm not even sure the kids are gonna want the bread. But if they don't want it, we'll stay with 9 items. All right, so we're just gonna toast up the pasta just a little. Alrighty, so I just want it, if you could see, let me see if I can show you this. It looks like it's got a little bit of browning on it. I don't know what to say, how to say it, but that's what I'm looking for. Okay? Now, like I said, this recipe says add a can of tomato soup. I got the spaghetti sauce because, well, one, I didn't see any tomato soup, and 2, I didn't know, maybe I wanted to use it for something else. And I reserved a little bit of the starchy water, just in case I decide to use it to thin it out a little bit, because it's supposed to have like a light taste, not a heavy spaghetti taste. So I stir it up a little bit. Okay. Just gonna add a little bit. That's about 1/4 of the can. Oh, we turn that down. I know when I play back a lot, you'll hear like it's really sizzling. It's a lot louder on the recording than it actually is here. I'll add a little bit more sauce than that. It was just enough to coat the noodles. I'm going to add a little bit of the starchy water. And guys, that's lunch. If you had some cheese, you could throw that in there. We don't have it, so we're not getting it. All right, last look. I just picked out some hot dogs and put it over top and sprinkled some parsley on top. The reason I came back was before I plated up was I forgot to add the salt and pepper. I did that. That's to taste. It's however you want it. So just remember I added salt and pepper. There you go. There are all the servings that made. I divided it up evenly between 5 people. Nobody wants bread, so we're just going to eat it like that. Let me get Eric and maybe Aiden or somebody to see if they could taste it for me. We'll do the final meal on camera. This one we're going to do off again. All right, I'm just giving mine a little mixy poo here because it sat for a minute. Eric and Aiden are down here with me. Tyler's sitting at the table. Trey took his plate and left. Well, he went to his room. Get some of your pasta and the hot dogs. You guys had this. Remember when I had that subscriber that sent me I don't know, it was a $2 or $3 meal that they ate just cause? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what this is, only I used spaghetti sauce instead of tomato sauce and stuff. All right. Let me put that in free. All right, let me see if mine's hot. You ready, Aiden? Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mm. Not bad at all, huh? Mm-mm.
That's amazing.
Kind of tastes a little bit like spaghetti because I put the spaghetti on it, but it's different because I added the butter and the hot dog. Mm. All right, for dinner, we'll be eating on camera. I'll see you then. Dinner time. All right, so this is what we have. I still have a little bit of sauce left. I'm not likely going to use it. I have that half a box of pasta. This pasta, you see, it's ice cold. It's been in the refrigerator. That's what I wanted it to do. Because I'm going to use it like as if it were rice. Like you were making a fried rice and you want it cold in the refrigerator. It makes it better. I'm hoping this works out. All right, so let's get over. No, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start slicing some things up. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator until we're ready because I want it to stay cold and dry. First thing I'm going to start with is the peppers and onions because I want to get these in a frying pan while I'm slicing up the, well, that didn't work out well, while I'm slicing up the pretend sausage. Hold on. Okay. So let's see what we got going on here. Sometimes you get good stuff, sometimes you get all onion. Well, that's not bad. I like the rebranding of the bags. They're smaller and it makes you feel like you got more because it's full, I guess. I'm going to get a big knife to chop that up. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my knife through this best I can and chop it all up. I'll start small. So that's all I'm going to do. Well, I'm almost there. Got this little bitty pile over here to finish up, and then we're going to be throwing it in the pan. All right. I'm going to put these in a frying pan, get them started because I want to sweat out all of the water. That chopped up to be a lot. Well, it looks like a lot, but it'll cook down to nothing. All right, let's move over to the frying pan and we'll come back to start cutting up the sausage. All right, so I got the pan hot. I'm not putting anything in here yet because the peppers and onions have a lot of liquid in them because they're frozen. So I want to get that off of them first. And then I'll add a little bit of olive oil down the road. Seems like that's more peppers and onions than they used to get. Let me check the package and see how much is in there. It's still 12 ounces. I'm pretty sure it was always 12 ounces. All right, let's give that a minute. And while these are starting, we're going to go over there and we're going to start cutting up the sausage. All right, while that's doing its thing over there, we're going to cook up our sausage. And I say that tongue in cheek. I'm going to quarter them, but I think that's what I want to do. Yeah. Just so it goes farther. Not quarter them, I'm going to half them. So we're just going to dice them up like that so we get some meat in every bite. I got the spicy and the mild because, I don't know, I feel like it's just hot dog one way and the other way gives a little kick that everybody likes, but not so kickish that I can't eat it. Okay, I'm going to do both packs just like that. On to pack number 2. Same thing with this one. All right, let's get over to our peppers and onions. There you go. Kind of thinking maybe I should have quartered them. So it goes farther. You have like chunks. I don't know. We'll see. Now, they're not completely dry. A lot of the liquid has cooked off. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan and the sausage. All right, add a little olive oil to the pan. The rest of that water will cook off. And we're going to push the sausage in. I want to laugh every time I call it sausage, but... all going in the pot. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of browning on this. And then I'll pull the pasta out of the refrigerator. Actually, I'm going to take it out now because it'll be done shortly. It'll be ready. Just want to get a little color on that. All right, so I let that sit for a little bit so I can get a little bit of browning on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of the pan for just a minute. Because remember how I cooked the pasta for lunch? I want to do that for dinner, but there's so much in here, I won't get the same amount of coverage. So I'm just going to take it out for a couple of minutes. But that looks good. Plenty of flavor there. All right, so I turned the pan back on. I want to loosen up some of that color on the bottom of the pan, that flavor. I'll loosen it up. I see it over here. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the pasta in. That's ice cold. I feel like it's going to flop in the pan. So we're just going to toast up the pasta a little bit. I forgot to mention, the reason I'm showing you this dish, or the last dish, on paper plates is because you can get an idea of how much food is there. Everybody knows what a Walmart paper plate looks like, and if you don't, go look at one. But it's a good way of, it's not the large plates, it's just the regular size plates. I'll put a little bit of oil in the pan for that. It soaked it right up. Okay. Let's give that a minute and I'll show you what it looks like. All right. While that's still browning a little bit, getting that like chewy kind of a texture to it, I'm going to add some, I think this is onion powder. I know I added onion already, but it hits different. Some garlic. A lot of garlic. Got some pepper going in there. Got to give that a nice little mixy poo. And we're going to add the meat back into the, oops. One of the pastas jumped over the side there. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to add back the peppers, onions, and sausages. I hope it doesn't taste bad by putting some soy sauce on it, but we'll see. I mean, I could eat it like this with a little bit of sauce, but that's kind of like what we just had for lunch. All right, let's give that a minute. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because I want it to simmer together for just a few minutes. We're gonna add our peas and carrots. Yeah, we definitely didn't need that extra $1.25. Look at all this food. Probably just eat it like this, even without any soy sauce if you didn't have any. I just took a little taste with this plastic spoon in there. That is fine just like that. You do not need the soy sauce. But I'm committed to doing it, so we're going to add it anyway. But I feel like we're only going to add a little bit. And this is the low sodium or less sodium. Just going to add some in there. Because this is what I had in my head, and I'm not letting go of my thought. I feel like it's going to be okay. When I say that was probably a tablespoon, it was probably less than that. And I did turn the heat all the way down. I think we're at a, where are we at? We're at a 4 on my gas range. All right, I'm going to add just a little bit of paprika, not because it needs it, just because, I don't know, it's like food coloring to me. Gives it a nice little color. Just a couple of shakes. That's it, guys. I'm going to stir that up. I've tasted it. It doesn't really need anything. It really didn't need the soy sauce, but I was committed to putting it in there. Oh, it's a very pretty, colorful plate, I can tell you that, or pot. All right. So that's how many plates I made for the kids and I. And it's kind of hot still. Hold on. There's still quite a bit left in the pot. But I'm going to meet you at the table. Dinner time! Oh, boy. Sure you don't want no bread?
No, I had enough already.
Yeah. I keep asking if they want bread. They're like, nope. You want some butter bread? Nope. Okay. It was in the budget. They don't want it. Hold on. I was going to make this like really like fried rice, but once I tasted this, I was like, that don't need too much soy. So I just added a little, because I was committed, I added a couple of splashes. All right. Are you ready? Let's go. That's good. And a very different taste from lunch, right? I was afraid they were going to be too similar. Oh, I got a spicy one.
It's very different.
Did you get a spicy one? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good. All right, let me get the rest of them fed. And then at the wrap up, we'll talk about what we thought about the whole day. Okay? See you later. Bye. Dinner's over, or shall I say, the day's over. How'd we do? Boom. We still have leftovers. I have more than half, but less than a quarter of the pasta sauce. I have 5 donuts left, and I have a very, very hearty serving there. That's more like a serving and a half It's a lot. It may not translate through the camera that that's a lot, but it is. Trust me. I plated up the kids' food, so I know what it is. So let's see what the kids thought about the day as a whole. I am sure their favorite thing is going to be the donuts, so I'm not going to ask that question. I'm just going to ask what they thought about the day as a whole, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Aiden, we all know what your favorite was, which was the breakfast. But as a whole, what did you think about dinner altogether? And then tell me which one, I guess, between lunch and dinner you preferred, which one you liked better.
They were all good, and I liked dinner better.
Tyler, what'd you think?
It was very good.
Which did you like the best, lunch or dinner?
The dinner.
The dinner. Oh, wow. All right, Eric, we all know everybody liked the donuts. What did you think about the whole day? And then tell me what you thought, like which one of these lunch and dinners would have been your favorite?
I really liked the donuts and
Besides the donuts. We all know you like the donuts.
dinner because I feel like there was something new.
What?
But the donuts and the dinner, I feel like there was something like a new taste, a new flavor,
Oh, how about that?
something different.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, it was different. I've never made like a fried pasta before.
But personally, my favorite would have to be the lunch. I really like the lunch.
Wow. I thought wow, he said the lunch. Okay. To me they were all good, so I just thought everybody was going to say dinner, but because we were saying so much about the flavors, so he's going to say that's what I like, but he didn't say that. That threw me. I enjoyed all of it. I really, really did. And you know what? Look, I made the donuts using my broiler. I whipped up two similar but very different meals, and we have leftovers. And I fed 5 people, large portions. So if you had extra people, you could definitely squeeze it out. You could get a 6-person in this without a problem, I'm certain. So I enjoyed it all. So there you have it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment. Either way. See you later. Bye.